Given the popularity of the franchise since its inception, Mega Man is a name that every gamer has heard of. With rare exception, the Blue Robot has appeared on every console since his debut. The most notable of his appearances is Mega Man X, a game so highly acclaimed that a die-hard fan made a hilarious 20-minute YouTube video talking about how Mega Man X is the greatest video game of all time, among other endless videos out there on YouTube. I first encountered the game via the Mega Man X collection that was released on the PlayStation 2. And while I don't share the opinion of Mega Man X being the greatest game of all time, I won't deny that this game is something truly special. But be warned, Mega Man X is not for the faint of heart. While it may not be the greatest game of all time, it is, without a doubt, one of the hardest games of all time. The story, like other games from the time era it comes from, is rather simplistic. Apart from a few moments of dialogue and the opening, the story is for the most part non-existent. I normally wouldn't hold this against the game, but when specific moments come up, similar to what a cutscene is by today's standards, that pushes forward the story, it acts as if it assumes you know the full and whole story. In the long run, it's not that big of a problem. It's really just a minor distraction, and it's one of the few aspects of the game that does fall flat. Something else that falls flat are the kooky enemy bosses you encounter. Apart from a few of the harder bosses, all of them are fashioned after some weird crossing between animal and machine. While that sounds cool in theory, they tend to come off as odd and a little silly. Thankfully, they do all have a great menacing appeal to them, which never really gets old. Each time I face these guys again and again, they always seem like they're going to kick my ass no matter how many times before I have beaten them. What works beautifully are the controls. Calling them simple would be an understatement. But in today's video games, you pretty much have to remember a combination of an untold variety of inputs via 11 or so buttons. It's kind of a mess that gamers have to live with. So it is a refreshing reprieve from the menagerie of endless combinations when Mega Man X comes along. When I started playing, I wasn't all that impressed with the gameplay. But then after playing for a week, I finally defeated the first boss and gained my first upgrade. The weapon upgrades helped bolster the gameplay and caused me to keep wanting to push forward. And yeah, you heard right, it took me a week to beat the first boss. Yes, I didn't play non-stop, and I only played a couple hours at night, but it still took me a damn week to beat the first boss, or level, depending on how you want to look at it. Speaking of levels, each of them have a very nice variety to them, almost akin to the levels on a fighting game. Going back to my earlier statement, this is a highly difficult game, but it can also be, in a good way, challenging. There were many times during the game where the perfect balance between ease and enjoyment and hard and exciting emerged, and that sweet spot that so many games strive for resonates with Mega Man X. However, with great challenge comes great frustration. Too many times does Mega Man X switch from challenging to downright unfair. This is never more true than with the final stage. Even with all the weapons unlocked, I have yet to pass this crucible, and I normally like to finish a game before reviewing it, but seeing how my time is precious to me, and since I finished a good 95% of the game, I decided to overlook this rule. This led to my final problem with the game, and this is a problem I consider to be a cardinal sin of video games. The sin of forcing a gamer to either purchase a guide, or game guide, or to go online for help to complete the said game. Video games should never require you to seek help outside the game. That should never be allowed. A game should either offer hints on how to progress or should have aid elsewhere within the game. But I couldn't have been even the first boss without seeking help online. Thankfully, this isn't really the case with newer games, and this doesn't kill the game, but it still is a problem you should consider when you buy this game, or at least when you think about getting this game. This game is not cheap. The Mega Man X collection is a very, very expensive collection. I happened upon it simply by accident. Um, I know you can get this through a number of ways. I think the PlayStation Network and Xbox Marketplace offer this game, but still, you're going to have to dig to find one of the numerous ways you can play it. I know that sounds weird saying you have to dig to find different ways, but anyway, I digress. When playing through Mega Man X, I had a very unfair time. Granted, it's not Halo Legendary Mode cheap, but once I got into the rhythm of the game, I started to see why so many people find this game so special. I don't know if it's worth the high price tag that I heard it has, but if you manage to come across a copy of this game, you shouldn't be disappointed. But again, be warned, if you're just a casual gamer who likes the occasional video game, do not get this game. This game is only for the die-hard gamers who laugh at hard modes and are looking for the hardest of hard. If there were Olympics of playing video games, Mega Man X would be one of the games included. Well, this has been our review of Mega Man X on the Mega Man X collection that was available on the PlayStation 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and more reviews should be inbound. And, if at all possible, please be sure to subscribe. We rate Mega Man X a 7 out of 11.